Hi, I'm Mayor Tim Balderman. I'd like to welcome you to this edition of Community Business Spotlight. Joining me today is Dr. Michael Shanholzer. Doctor, how are you?
Glad to meet you.
Very nice to meet you as well. Tell me a little bit about your business.
Well, I'm a podiatrist, which is a physician of the foot and ankle, and I've been in the New Lenox area for about 27 years now. Live here, and I have an office in Joliet, and it's really growing here in New Lenox, and there's a lot of people with sore heels and ingrown toenails, and keeps you busy.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Now, where are you located in New Lenox?
I'm just above the Chase Bank on Route 30. When I first moved over there, it's changed name quite a bit. And now it's Chase Bank. Every couple of years it changed its name. And I always tell people that if they can't find it and the bank changes, we're right next to McDonald's. So.
Well, I think everybody knows where. Well, now we've got two McDonald's. You have to tell them the one on Route 30. That's right.
I have to make. I forgot about that.
That's right. That's right. Now, you talk about podiatry and the foot and the ankle as well, correct?
Right.
What services do you provide for people?
Well, it goes all the way from a lot of people, especially seniors, it's just what we call routine care. Corns, calluses, shoes for diabetics, things like that. Sometimes a lot of children's problems, plantar warts, again, probably some problems with flat feet, things like that. And then we get into like a little more advanced with people with bunions and hammer toes and deformities in the foot, which we do surgical correction at Silver Cross, which is opening up a new hospital real close. And
yes.
It's a wide range of, before I became a podiatrist, I never realized that many things could go wrong with your feet, but.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes. Now, you see the ankle as well, huh? Do you deal a little bit with the ankle?
Yeah, a lot of ankle sprains, especially with this ice and snow. A lot of people have fallen or twist their ankles, and then see a few sports injuries too, like that. A lot of ankle sprains, and in podiatry now, there's a lot more advanced ankle work. A lot of the new podiatrists coming out now are getting 2 or 3 year residencies, and they're doing quite a bit of advanced things. I guess I call myself a general practitioner. I do a little bit of everything, but but ankles, a lot of it with the weather we're having, and sports too.
Sure. Now, I have a very self-serving question to ask you here, but my daughter will never. I've got 3 daughters, but they'll never watch me on TV. But I'm going to make my 15-year-old daughter watch this.
Okay.
She, like a lot of Americans today, are wearing these flip-flops all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. 24 hours a day is flip-flops. She'll play basketball in flip-flops. Will you please tell her and everyone else out there just why that doesn't work for them?
Well, they'll never stop them, because my daughter wears them, and she's in college and she still wears them. I see that, just waiting for somebody to, and one of the things I've heard a lot about is people on escalators going in stores and stuff, and the flip-flop gets caught in the step as it goes up, and I've heard people really, I've never had anybody come to the office with it, but, and they like it. I mean, they wear them year round, guys wear them. The other one is those Crocs, those plastic shoes,
right.
And they wear them at Silver Cross, so I guess they're okay, but.
but they're not really providing support.
No.
I would imagine walking in them is probably not that great, but when you start running in them and doing those other things, they're not providing that support.
In the summer, the American Podiatry Association print a little brochure for people to read during the summer with flip-flops, and just emphasizing to them around the house, fine, around the pool, but you see people at the mall, you see people walking down the street, in Chicago, getting off the train with flip-flops, and it's just kind of, there's not much, like you're right, there's not much support there. I mean, just for temporary, but if you're going to do any long time walking, a long day, you're kind of asking for trouble.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm going to make my daughter watch this, and if you don't take it from me, sweetheart, take it from the doctor. But, so now, 27 years you've been.
Yeah, I'm originally from the Joliet area, and I have an office in Joliet over there near St. Joe's Hospital. And I got the opportunity. Me and my wife had moved from. We were Joliet residents for a long time. We moved to New Lenox because over the years I just liked New Lenox. You couldn't beat the schools. I'm glad we went, because all 3 of my kids went to Lincoln Way High School, and they're all doing real well now.
Sure.
And I just like the area, and now it's expanding so much. It's changed. It used to be that little village on Route 30 with a little railroad station there. Bronze sails, and that was about it. And now you look at it, it's like, wow.
It changes quickly, that's for sure. Tell me why New Lenox? I mean, you're right, it is expanding in that, but what do you see about the people here and about their attention to their health care?
I think they're real good here because, I mean, a lot of preventative things. You see a lot of people bringing in their kids, you know, if there's a little bump in their toe and they come over and, you know, is it a wart or is it, you know, and I think people, just by the way, I think people here in New Lenox participate in a lot of things. I mean, there's so many things you can do for your kids. I sponsored a couple of softball teams, foot and ankle clinic in New Lenox, and I don't know if one day I got talking to being the coach, but I wasn't really ready for it. But it just seems New Lenox is a real, I mean, the people here, friendly, it's expanding, and everybody's, you know, I think that's the fun thing I notice. People come in and they're really easy to talk to, and, you know, it's got that small town atmosphere, but it's getting bigger. You know?
Well, I'm glad you said that because that's obviously what we're going for here.
Yeah.
And I have noticed in watching all of I have 5 children all, I'm watching all my kids in sports, especially in basketball, I see ankle braces all the time and that sort of thing. So do you talk to kids about that? If you get someone with sports injuries there, you've got a brace for them? Or?
Yeah, braces, ankle sprains a lot. And then sometimes the hardest thing is to maybe slow them down and have them stay off of it. And that's probably the best thing of, you know, an ankle sprain. If you watch the Bears, the Cubs, you know, somebody gets on the, you know, and you see plantar fasciitis quite a bit. There's a guy that was on the Bulls, I can't remember his name, was off for about a week or two because of plantar fasciitis, which is what they used to call heel spurs, but you can get it in sports. Younger people get it. Myself, I call it the over 40 syndrome because you get it from just getting up in the morning sometimes, you know. But a lot of sports, and a lot of them it's just resting because the kids don't want to stop. They want to, you know, they figure it'll be okay in a couple days, and you got to give it a chance to rest, plus the brace and everything. But a lot of kids come in with ankle sprains a lot, especially in volleyball and all that. But they're pretty good about it. Their parents make them come in, though. I think they don't want to most of the time.
No, but that's right, because they don't want to be told they can't play sports.
No, it's hard to keep them down.
Well, that's for sure. Do you know? Would you certainly recommend, though, at the first sign of some injury, to come in and be seen? I would imagine because we all have a tendency to overcompensate, and then that could cause even greater problems down the line. Right?
Sometimes knee problems. I think everything's, they always say the heel bone's connected to the knee, the hip, all that. It's true. Because sometimes if you still walk with that plantar fasciitis, that ankle sprain, then you're sometimes throwing your knee out of whack, and then you've got more problems. And we have, here in New Lenox, we have quite a few physical therapy areas, you know, Newsom over there, and they do a lot of work with that too. And lots of times if I get people that are doing a little better, I'll refer them over to a physical therapy here. It's right in town, and that helps them quite a bit too, to get back on their feet and back in the game. You know?
Absolutely.
But in New Lenox, I mean, with all the 3 high schools, the sports, and even grade school, now they have the junior football leagues. It used to be, you know, baseball and softball and soccer. Now it's football, and so everybody's, you know, so it's. I think people are more aware of things like that, and they're easier to talk to, and they follow what you tell them to do most of the time.
Sure, it's great. We want the kids to be active. We just want them to be healthy and safe.
Right. So
that's good. Well, you've told us an awful lot about your business. Anything you want to add?
I just want to say I'm living in New Lenox is great. It's like I said, all my kids are all out. One's down at Bradley. One's is a engineer, and I got another one that works over, and I think the education they got here, they were active in all the different baseball, Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts. I mean, and now it's kind of quiet because, but I'm really looking forward to see in the years ahead how New Lenox is changing. The Walmart, all the other things. You're not going to have to run to the Oak Brook or, you know, Orland Park or Joliet or anything for anything else. So.
That's right. Whether it's your medical services or your groceries or whatever your needs are, we want to be able to provide them all right here in town.
Yeah.
And as much as we appreciate all of our small business owners, and we certainly do, that's why we do this program, I think it's wonderful when the small business owner lives in the community as well and really supports where they're at. So thank you for that. My office was originally owned by a fellow, a podiatrist from Indiana, and he commuted every day. He got tired of commuting, and then he called me up when I was in Joliet. Are you interested in buying the office in Lenox? I jumped right on it because I thought that's why I wanted to go. Because at the time we were living here, and I thought, boy, to have an office here in New Lenox was perfect, you know. So. Well, that's wonderful. So. Well, Doctor, thank you very much for being here today. Too. Nice meeting you. And I want to thank all of you for joining us for this edition of Community Business Spotlight.